understand that you guys did a fire drill last week and you were able to get out of here in under 2 minutes, which is awesome. For us as firefighters, it's important, to get everybody out as quickly as possible and to know that everybody's out so that we don't have to come in and search for people and, we can focus on getting the fire out. It's important when you're at the City building, I want you to be over in the Marshall area. Over here to the east by the gym. So, when the fire department comes on scene, usually our first truck's got a few people on it. We'll get started attacking the fire and have other trucks following. We'll have EMS en route. We're usually here also. And our goal is to get the fire out. If there's someone that needs help, of course, you guys are our priority. But if we, everybody gets out of the building quickly, so we're not having to spend that time searching for people, then we're able to, focus on the fire and get that out quicker. And that's it. Sorry, thank you.
Good morning, Ken Bostic with the City of Goldendale. This is a very, very important place to the City of Goldendale to be able to serve our seniors here. My mom and dad attended here. They both passed away, and I soon too will be a senior as I turn 62 in a couple months. And so there's been a very detailed and important document here is the fire safety evacuation and medical emergency plan that's been drawn up for this facility. Fire drills are very important, and getting everybody and having accountability to get everybody out of the building will enable the fire department, which I'm also a member of, to get in here and get this fire put out and try to save this building. Lit exit signs, emergency lighting, all very important. We want you to feel comfortable coming here and enjoying a meal, and if there's ever an incident, we want you to be able to get out safely. Assembling over here, and again, accountability is very important. And so, I understand that you had a drill last week, and everybody was able to get out in 2 minutes. That's a pretty good time. The fire department can't respond in that time, but we'll be shortly behind that. And so your cooperation with this plan, as it's implemented, will be beneficial to you, the fire department, and for the City of Goldendale. And thank you for your participation.
All right, I guess I'm up. I'm Reggie Barkowski. I'm the Chief of Police for Goldendale. Thank you. Thank you. So we're just going to cover a little bit of our response, and I think Ken Bostic covered a lot of other things I was going to talk about, which is your lit signs, your maps. You guys are doing a lot of really good things here at the Senior Center, and I know this helps with your insurance and a lot of the emergency management preparation that we're trying to do in the city. But the response, when a fire comes out, usually law enforcement is the first to get here, and the first thing that we care about is obviously getting everybody out of the building. A lot of times we'll come in and we actually help get people out of the building as fast as we can. It's extremely important that you leave whatever you have and just get out of the building as quickly as you can. Go to the place that has been designated, which is over here by the gym. That's where a head count is going to be done. And that's the first thing that we want to know is make sure that every person is out of the building. Because if they're not, that's where we're making plans as law enforcement and as fire crews are arriving, how to get back in to make sure every person is out of the building. So if you don't go to the safety spot, you may not be accounted for, and we may be coming back in to look for somebody who's not even inside the building. Some other things is, as we respond, we start to block off the street. We don't want nobody driving down the street. The fire trucks usually will park right in the middle of Main Street here. So you probably won't be able to back out your cars. Leave your cars, just go to the safe spot. Don't worry about any of that, because when the fire trucks get here, they're going to be stringing fire hoses and everything else, and you're not going to be able to move your vehicles. So it's going to be like one of the last concerns that we're worried about is property. when it comes to a fire. The number one thing, of course, is life, getting everybody out, being quick, and making sure that everybody's accounted for. A few other things, obviously, fire drills are extremely important. I wish every business in town would do fire drills. I've got a couple stats, and I've only got 2 minutes, so I'm going to be very, very quick. Over a 5-year period, 3,500 fires have broke out into offices like a senior center. And usually it's because of electrical, it's usually the number one, or it's because of equipment inside of a kitchen fails. And also arson is number 3. So it does happen. So it's something that's extremely important that that we take serious. And the last thing I want to cover, if there's anything of importance inside of this building that besides life, like paperwork or money or something like that, having a safe that's a fireproof safe is a great thing to have. Protect it. That way we don't have to worry about it. One thing that we get a lot when we go to fires and we're the first ones there is somebody will be talking about something inside that's very valuable, like pictures, and then they want to go back in and they'll actually risk their life running back into a building to get something. If you've got a safe and you keep those valuables in a safe, that's something we don't have to worry about and try to get out from it. Because when it comes to property, that's just not one of our high priorities. Okay? Thank you guys all for letting me come and talk today.
Thank you very much. And just a reminder that the board has made arrangements that should there be an incident where it's an actual fire, buses will be provided to take you home and out of the area, and we will be providing water for your comfort. But the most important thing is your safety and to get you away from, as far away from the burning building as possible. Thank you very much. Carol?
Thank you, Hillary, and thank you, everybody. Today we have a guest Leslie Hebert. I've known her since she was in high school. And she's going to talk to you about the hospital.
So thank you for having us. I have Jonathan Lewis here, who is our Director of Support Services, and Chris Reeves, who is our Director of Human Resources and Community Outreach. So we just want to talk a little bit today about our project. Coming up, we have a proposition that is on the ballot coming that will be mailed next week. We have a current bond issue that expires at the end of 2020, and we want to replace that bond. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about that project. So the hospital district a petition was sent around in 1946, and the hospital district was formed. Shortly thereafter, there was groundbreaking, and that current hospital was built in 1949. So the community was really progressive at that time and said, we need to do something for our community and build a hospital. And the first board that we have, Chris is right there, just kind of shows the hospital district and the community has been really thoughtful and progressive in about every 15 to 20 years doing a significant addition or remodel so that we can continue to provide the services that are important to the community. So that just really shows that we've done a lot with the space that we have. We have about 100,000 square feet on the hospital campus right now, and we've done remodeling and moving programs around to really utilize all the space that we can and provide the services that we know that you want. And we're to the point now that we don't have any more room. And so through the process of master facility planning, we developed a plan several years ago to try to identify those areas that need to be replaced. We looked at remodeling the current space of the acute care wing. We looked at building a brand new building, a brand new hospital. That was all really expensive, more expensive than adding square footage. So we felt like the most cost-effective approach is to add about 24,000 square feet, so increase the square footage of about 25%, and add 8 new rooms. So there would be 6 private rooms and 2 semi-private rooms, and new area for surgery on the second floor of the building. And then on the first floor, community meeting rooms and dietary and pharmacy space. So that was really identified as a priority. We would repurpose our current acute care wing. So our maintenance department and housekeeping have done a fantastic job of maintaining the facility, but it is 70 years old. We can still use those beds though. As a critical access hospital, we have a license for 25 beds. When we don't utilize all 25 of them. So we want to be able to repurpose the existing acute care wing for long-term care beds. And we can use 15 of our 25 licenses for long-term care. So which we know, and I'm sure there are people in this room who have had experience that we don't have any long-term care in Klickitat County. The Department of Health did a survey, looked at all the information, and said Klickitat County has a shortage of 180 long-term care beds. So although it's not 180, it's 15 beds, which is better than no beds. We often see patients that we have to discharge out of the area to a nursing home in the Dalles or Toppenish or Hood River that we would like to be able to keep in our community, and the families would like to keep them here. So that's really important to us to be able to have that space available. We've kept up that space. It's still good. It's still adequate for long-term care. For acute care hospital stays, it's not up to what you see in a modern hospital. So semi-private rooms, 2 rooms sharing 1 bathroom, so potentially 4 patients sharing 1 bathroom. And the space is a little bit smaller, so when you have a semi-private room, there's not a lot of room for family and guests and equipment. So we want to be safe in the rooms, we want to have the Hoyer lifts and the equipment that you need to be safe for your stay. And we really feel like having private rooms, a little bit more space for your family, will be great. The other thing about the location of where we want to build the addition is right in the front of the hospital. So in 1949, when they built that building, they didn't build it perpendicular to the roads. They put it at an angle to really appreciate the view that we have. We're blessed in our area to have these incredible mountains. And so we looked at that and said, we're going to put our patient rooms on the 2nd floor so they can really enjoy that view. And while they're here, they can have a healing environment and be able to take advantage of that. So that's where a priority for us is for our patients to be able to appreciate the beauty that we have in our area. So the other important parts of the project, we currently our pharmacy is in 128 square feet. It's very, very small. We have 2 employees in there, all the medications that we need. We don't have a hood and a clean room to be able to mix medications for infusions. So we want to build a space for outpatient pharmacy that will be able to have a hood and be able to mix medications. What we have found through the information we have in the clinic is about 60% of the prescriptions that are written are not filled locally. And we've worked with Casey Pharmacies. Connie and Carrie have done a great job for many years. Their new owner, Yvonne, has just been fantastic to work with. And we really want to complement the service that they're offering. They're not able to mix medications at all. And their hours, they're not always open when our patients need medications because people come into the ER or they're discharged from the hospital, and we want to be able to discharge them with their medications in hand so that they have those medications and they can just go straight home. So we have space for an outpatient pharmacy. We also know that when the assisted living was built, the kitchen was built and was really built family style and doesn't really have the space to prep and prepare meals for potentially 25 people in the hospital, and then the people that we do have coming through to get their lunch, or a family member getting breakfast while they are going to see a loved one. So we want to be able to have new space for our dietary program and to be able to have some community meeting rooms adjacent to that. So we get a lot of requests, I'm sure the Senior Center does too, for community meetings, and we really don't have a lot of space. It's tied up. When it is available, we try to make sure that people can utilize it. We want to be able to have it available for the community, and we've also recently signed in a letter of support with Columbia Basin Community College to be a partner in teleeducation. So we need some space to be able to provide some healthcare education so that we can help people get licensed as certified nurses assistants. I know that's a huge problem for the county, and we talked to Sharon about that. And that being that first program to really start and see if we can do our own training here locally through Company Forest Community College and have the space to be able to do that. So that's another exciting thing for that. The foundation would also like to have a small gift shop, so we would have a small gift shop down there. We really take one of our values of being responsible stewards seriously, so we want to utilize that space as being vacated. So for the current OR spaces now, we can't do all the surgeries that we'd like to do. Now, we have an orthopedic surgeon that comes once a week, but he can't do joint replacements here because our OR isn't at the level that you need it to be at with environmental controls for joint replacement. So part of the project is building a new surgery area. The OR area was originally built in 1949 and added on to in 1967. So we can do more surgeries if we have an updated OR space. And we would repurpose the existing OR space for more outpatient services. So we get a demand, a request, and people need outpatient services for more infusions, for wound care, for specialty services, and we're out of space to be able to do that. So that would be repurposed for that, and the existing acute care wing would be repurposed for long-term care. The kitchen would be repurposed for growth that we're experiencing in family medicine. So we're adding the dental clinic that's supposed to be coming this fall. We've started providing behavioral health services in the clinic as well. So all these new services take space, and we're slowly pushing the people that are in that building, displacing them, and they're going to need a place to go. So where the current dietary and cafe spaces, we'd like to be able to repurpose that to that. And we push up in that family medicine building and utilize all that space for patient care services. Have a place to relocate folks. So those are the main elements of the project. We want to be able to provide a full service so that when you're seen in the clinic and you have a bad hip, you get the referral to see the orthopedic surgeon. The orthopedic surgeon can order the images and do that there. And then if you do need to have a hip replacement, we want to be able to do that there. Do that right at the hospital. We can't do that now. We have our transitional care program that some of you may have used, so if you have a hip replacement or any other skilled service where you need to stay to recover, we can do that in the new rooms. We have our home health program that you can be discharged to. We have our outpatient therapy services that once you go home, you come in on outpatient services. If you do get discharged, we can discharge you with your medication. So we'd be able to really complete that full circle of care. So that's kind of really a lot of the information behind the project. As I mentioned, the ballots will be filled out next week. The vote is August 6th, so I just encourage you to get out and vote. We have some information on what that means for you as a taxpayer. So our current bond is at about 43 cents per thousand right now. The new issue would be at about $1, so it's a little bit of an increase. If you have a $200,000 assessed home, it would be an additional about $118 a year, or a little about $10 a month. So if you know the assessed value of your property, you can kind of, we can help you walk through that and see what that would mean for you. We have talked a lot about to folks that if we're able to provide some of those services here, maybe that would help you from having to go out of town for them. And so that savings by not having to travel to the Dalles or Portland could help offset the cost of your property rate increase. We did find when this was originally issued in the year 2000, our current issue, it was about $1.29 per thousand, and now it's down to 43 cents. So because of the increased assessed value of the hospital district, it's decreased. That could also happen again. This would be a 25-year bond. We're really trying to plan for the next 25 years like we did with this issue, plan for the next 20 years, and do what we think the community is going to need and really want. So that's really the information we have. We have brochures. We're going to have an open house at the hospital on July 16th from 6 to 8 p.m. We'll have the architect there, our project manager, staff, some of our physicians and surgeons. And if you want to come up and get more information, if you feel like you have some questions that haven't been answered yet, and you'd like to ask those, feel free to come on up. we have brochures that we're gonna hand out that have a lot of this information in it, but always feel free to come up to the hospital or give me a call, and I'd be happy to sit down and go over, any questions you might have with it. So that's what I have. If you have any questions right now, top of mind. Yeah.
You talked about long-term care. As I understand it, the reason we don't have the nursing home getting long-term care is kind of because we can't compete because of interference from government and increased regulations. And we had the assisted living facility here, and also been closed because we're not competitive. Is there been anything to alleviate that?
That's a great question. So the answer to that question is, because we're a critical access hospital, there's a separate designation for that, and we're reimbursed differently than assisted living or a standalone long-term care facility. And so under that 25-bed license, we're able to, it won't have the same financial impact that it had with the assisted living or with the standalone unit. So it's really something several of the smaller rural community hospitals have taken advantage of. So Dayton, Washington currently has a program, and there's a couple other hospitals, Martin General, just over. So you can utilize those, and we do have a certificate of need. For our 25 beds, they can either be acute or they call them swing beds or swing them over. So over the course of time in the last 10 years, we've increased that 25 beds to be able to go either way. When the assisted living closed, we couldn't remodel that space and bring it up to long-term care standards. It would have been extreme, really, really expensive. Hospital standards are at the level or greater than long-term care, so we can meet those standards. So I think we have an opportunity with our, if we build some new beds, that we could repurpose those for that. So our transitional beds that we have now, the way we're able to use those is through the swing bed program. So it's just another type of stay to be able to do that. I wish there was an easier answer, but Medicare, they make it really complicated.
Any other questions?
Hey, Leslie?
Yeah.
Your heating air conditioning unit on the newer unit up there at the hospital, is something going to be done to fix that here in the very near future? We're a couple blocks from there, and it has really got loud.
Jonathan's going to answer that for you.
Yes, we have one of the compressors that's failing, giving us a hard time, and we do have a contractor coming to swap that out. So we are working on that. We're also looking at some additional funding. It would be a different project, but putting that whole unit onto a central utility plant, so it wouldn't actually have the chillers built into the unit. It would be on a central plant, and that would really help as well. That is another project.
In the near future?
Yes, I think within the next couple weeks.
Okay. It's been going on for quite a while.
Sorry about the noise. Yeah, that thing gets crazy noisy.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
You mentioned using part of the beds that we currently have for long-term care. 2 years ago, I was in OSAQ waiting to be transferred to KVA, but I had to wait for a current bed. So what's going to happen when the hospital beds are full and you've got other people you need to put in the hospital?
So we did look at our historical occupancies, and it is a rare occasion that we have more than 12 patients, and that would be, really the max. Our average census is really more in the 5, average of 5. We bump up to 8, sometimes 10, a little bit more consistently. So we can also keep patients in an observation status, and that doesn't count towards the 25 beds, so we can utilize that sometimes. So we weren't above the 25 bed limit because I've been at the hospital district for 10 years, and we haven't been above, 12, 15. So it must have been some other complication of trying to get you back. Because we really do try to work hard with OHSU. If we send you out, we work hard to try to get you back. And sometimes we may not have the specialty care that you need to come back. So we have to be really careful to ensure that we want to be able to take care of patients. And if we can't provide that level of quality that you need, then we're going to request that you find alternative placement until you can come back to us. Because we don't have all the specialists here.
Any other questions?
Yeah, I got a question. Okay, say that your hospital is wonderful, right? And somebody really need the hospital that day. And they called 911 and the ambulance came and picked them up, and you don't have any beds for them in the hospital. What do you do if they really need help?
That's a great question. So whenever we do get into situations, and it happens occasionally, maybe a piece of equipment is down, sometimes our CT scanner goes down, and we let the EMS staff know, and we let MCMC know. We go on what's called diversion. And so the ambulance staff would then just take you directly to the Dallas. So it's rare that happens, but just in case it does, we have that set up.
Did you ever get anybody activated in fulfilling the national obligation to all of us who don't want anything to do with drugs, but need care in the naturopathic, purely herbal, purely root realm?
So we don't have services at the hospital. There are some services locally. I know at Dr. Carver's office, they've worked with naturopaths.
So if they go out and get hit by one of the loads in the vehicle, at the wheel where they none of them.
So we have to work within the national and state regulations in order to I would encourage you to keep reaching out to your legislators and trying at the hospital. So we are, part of Teresa's job is promoting health and wellness, and so we are working on prevention and healthy living and exercise. We're trying to bring in for the Wellness and Therapy Center alternative types of treatment. So, you know, everybody has a different idea of how they want their health care, and we're just trying to meet those needs.
Ready, don't take care of herself, and she's diabetic, and soon the job to help her, and don't see yourself for that, what to do about it.
Because everybody wait on her, don't get up, happy, and the doctor told her she's got to walk. She won't do it. And she sits there, and she doesn't look back, and walks back, stuff like that.
question. And what we have to work with is everybody has a personal choice. And sometimes as a family member, it's very frustrating that their choice for themselves isn't what you want their choice to be. So we just have to honor their wishes. That's a tough situation. All right, well, thank you so much. If you have more questions, please come July 16th to the open house, 6 to 8. Come in through the family medicine. Thank you.